Hi everyone, today we'll be talking about 3 feedback models you should definitely consider implementing in your organization. Let's dive right in. We're starting things off with 360-degree feedback, a holistic feedback model that encourages feedback from multiple different sources such as managers, direct reports, peers, and if practiced correctly, people outside of your organization, third parties such as customers or independent contractors. Not only that, but 360-degree feedback also includes a self-assessment section for comparison. And then what you do is put all these different perspectives together to get a complete look at the employee's performance. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of 360 feedback? Well, on the plus side, 360 feedback includes everyone in the feedback process, giving you a complete view. It also encourages self-awareness, and it makes it easier to identify areas of improvement and strengths in the employee. The only downside to 360 feedback is since you're gathering feedback from all these different sources, it may take a bit longer. But there's a way to get around that, and that way is using 360-degree feedback software. And if you're using Microsoft Teams or Outlook on a daily basis, I have just the solution for you. Teamflect. Teamflect is an all-in-one performance management tool designed specifically for those platforms, and it has a very extensive 360-degree feedback module. Teamflect has a massive library of customizable feedback templates that you can send to anyone in your organization through Microsoft Teams and Outlook. You can even send feedback requests to people outside of your organization. And when your team is actually giving the feedback, they can take advantage of an AI feedback writing assistant that can enhance their feedback and check for biases. And when those performance reviews roll around, you can include 360-degree feedback questions in your performance reviews as well. The best part is you can try all of this and so much more for absolutely free because Teamflect is free with full functionality for up to 10 users with no time or feature limitations. All you have to do is click the link in the description. The next feedback model we'll be looking at is SBI, Situation, Behavior, and Impact. And it is as simple as it sounds. When you're giving feedback with the SBI model, you start things off with the context or the situation in which a behavior was observed. And then you focus on the behavior that you observed within that context. And the last part is impact. You discuss the impacts of the behavior as you're giving feedback. This way you have a clear and well-defined structure for the way you deliver your feedback. And since it is so easy, you can start using it right away. Now let's take a look at some of its advantages and disadvantages. On the plus side, SBI allows you to deliver clear and actionable feedback, and it avoids generalizations. And the way your feedback is structured in SBI, it encourages constructive discussions. The only disadvantages are that since it's overly structured, it may feel a bit too rigid and unnatural. So it will take some practice to make those conversations feel normal and natural. Last but not least, we have the CEDAR feedback model, which is great for feedback between mentors and mentees. And it is essentially SBI, but a lot more detailed. And it has a focus on creating action plans. As you might have guessed, CEDAR is an acronym, and it stands for Context, Example, Diagnosis, Action, and Review. Now, the first 3 steps in the CEDAR feedback model is essentially the same as SBI. You discuss the context, you give examples, and then you discuss impacts, but this time under the diagnosis section. The next 2 steps are where CEDAR differentiates from SBI, because first you devise an action plan on how to address those issues, and the next thing is review. You schedule a follow-up where you discuss how the action plan went. Now let's take a look at its advantages and disadvantages. Using CEDAR is a more detailed and structured approach to feedback. And as a feedback model, CEDAR is more action and problem solving and solution oriented. And CEDAR focuses on growth and development. And its disadvantages are that CEDAR is a more time-consuming feedback model and scheduling those follow-ups aren't always as easy. But once again, if you use a feedback tool like Teamflect, you can automate all that process. But that about brings us to the end of this video. What did you think? What is your favorite feedback model? Just let me know in the comments. Guys, we release helpful content like this one every single week. Subscribe so you don't miss any of them. And if you want to try Teamflect for free, you can always click the link in the description. Bye-bye.